Hi there, it's Janice Thompson from jazzledazzlecraft.co.uk. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator working in Scotland, and today I'm on Facebook Live, I hope, and I forgot to turn my volume down again. Bear with me. So I have the video up on Facebook so that I can see. I think I better turn my fan off. It's very hot this morning. So good morning if you're coming in to have a wee look at what we're doing today. We're going to do some triple layer or even quadruple layer stamping. Who's in today? It's telling me that 2 people are watching. Hi Susan. I don't know who the other person is. Maybe the other person's me actually, because I've got it on 2 devices. So hopefully some people will manage to get in. Just, it's always a lag, so there may be more people watching already. We'll see how we go. Just give it a minute or 2 and we'll get started. So this is the card we're going to make, or one of the cards we're going to make today using, let me just get my, hi Hilary, hi Rails, in you come ladies. It's just telling me that you've joined, so don't be spooked. Oh, you're heading to work, Susan. It's not a great time for you, is it? Hi Sylvia, hope your day at work is okay, Susan. So we're going to be using Forever Fern, 3 of our new in colours. I've just gone for a completely different colour scheme using these because I keep reaching for the Magenta Madness when I'm using the new in colours. So I've made myself be disciplined with the amount of colours I'm using. So I'm using Bumblebee, Just Jade and Cinnamon Cider. Are you going to craft with me again, Hilary? That's great. Whatever you're up to, that's fab. So to do these triple layer, I mean, you could do multi-layers actually, you can do more than triple. There's 2 ways to do it. So I'm going to show you, this is my preferred method using the rectangle stitch framelits, but what I'll do is I'll show you the version of this technique that doesn't use a die cut, doesn't use die cuts, and you can just do measurements. So I worked out some measurements, and I have I'll pop this one to the side. It was just to give you a clue where we're going. So and that's the dies for when I do that one. So I've written, let me find my page where I've written in my measurements so that we can cut. Alright, so I did a bit of working out measurements here just to show you. So I will blog this, but I'll just tell you where we are, what we're using. So we've got half a sheet of A4 cut in half and then folded in half. Then we have a layer of our Whisper White card, which is 10.1 by 14.4 centimetres. Then a layer of our Cinnamon Cider, which is 8.1 centimetres by 12.4, and then a layer of white, which is 7.7 by 12. So as I say, I will put these on the blog at jazzledazzlecraft.co.uk, so don't worry too much about the measurements if you want to do this yourself later. And then just on this one, just a final layer, but obviously if you want to work out measurements you can do more layers. So that layer of card is 5.7 by 10 centimetres, and this layer here of white is 5.3 by 9.6. Now this is the way I first learned to make this style of card many years ago. So it's good, this method, for anyone who does not own nesting dies, but if you've got nesting dies, well, use them. take a lot of the measuring, but it saves your head. So we've got card base and 2 layers of cinnamon cider, which I'm going to pop just to the right of me. I'm going to pop some lights on because I don't think, I'm not quite sure just what you're seeing is a bit, probably end up being too bright. You can never win, can you? Especially in summertime. Anyway, so now we have 3 layers of card. So what we're going to do is stamp all over, but we're going to layer them up now. And I'm just going to use a little bit of washi tape. Just a tiny little bit. Fold it in half. Any kind of temporary adhesive you can. There's spray adhesives that are temporary you can use as well. I'm just going to pop that under there just to keep that, because that's not, this isn't too bulky. We don't want anything that might be too bulky. And then we want this one, want that to be straight, and then this on top. So just put a little bit under here as well. I'm not putting the washi tape on top of the other piece to try and reduce the bulk. So I'm trying to make sure these are evenly spaced, and that's and as straight as possible. I think that's fine. So then I am going to use these 3 colours. I've got some already to do the practice one. I've already got some of the stamps from this set out. I did have the Hello Sentiment. I don't know. Oh yeah, it's already here. So it's already here. So let's just do very similar so that you can see the difference. Have you noticed? Just a bit of fun, Susan. I think it's called triple layer stamping. So I'm just going to pop the hello roughly in the middle. Obviously you can change the composition to suit yourself. So hello, there you go. And then while I've got the cinnamon cider out, I need a bigger block. Where are all my blocks? As I say, I did have a wee quick practice of this, and we're just learning a bit of a technique today, so we're still using cinnamon cider. And the idea is you stamp right across the 3 layers. So I'm just going to pop this kind of in the corner. And that's why you need something that's thin. You need to try and press quite hard. So that it gets in as much as you can. But because we're putting the card layers, it's not too bad, because that won't, if I haven't got it very well done, it won't really show. Right, and then we'll put some green in here. We might go back in with the cinnamon cider later, but we'll get some green in. And we'll use this leaf. I mean, it matters not, just this is a fantastic set. It's just good for this type of work, so we'll pop that in, pressing down quite firmly to try and catch each layer if you can. Doesn't matter if the leaves overlap. I don't know if anyone else has got a cuppa, because this is really our cuppa and cards, which I forgot to put a title on my video, and I just got in and got on with it. But I've got a drink of water. It's very hot here in Scotland, and it's going to be another very hot day. So I better keep myself hydrated. And just try and work it so that it's going as far as you can in the layers. That's okay. And then let's bring in, what else have we got? This one that we all think looks a bit like eucalyptus, but I'm going to do this with bumblebee. And I have made a bit of a boo-boo there, but I'll sort that, don't worry. Got an idea for that. So we've got bumblebee. Are you cold, Sylvia? When you say cold, what temperatures are you speaking? Because sometimes my son who lives in Western Australia tells me, oh, it's freezing, it's cold. And sometimes his winter days are actually warmer than our summer days. I know it's all relative. You've got your Cuppa rails, that's good. So we're adding in the bumblebee with this wee stamp. Oh, you're in New Zealand, Sylvia, yeah. 10 degrees. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I would probably have heating on. Hi, Randy. Early for you, is it not, Randy? I'm just adding it, and then what we'll do is I think I'll use a bit of dots and bring in a bit more of the green in here. $14 in Australia, okay. I'll let you off. That's quite cool. So I've just done some dots, splatters, whatever, just to give it all a bit of texture. And just get some colour in the background. Right, that'll do, because it's only, this is about technique, not about perfect stamping. Well, that's my excuse. So that's that one. So let's make this up so that you can see the process here. So I have already cut the layers for this one. I haven't cut for the next one, but I've cut for this one. So let's just make this up. So we went through the layers at the beginning. So then we just take these off very gently, getting rid of the oh my goodness, that's early, Randy. Right, so I've taken off the tape. Now it's just a matter now of just assembling all the layers. So we'll take the smallest layer and some wet glue. And then just pop it that's one layer, and then this layer So then we basically just stick them all together. You can use dimensionals and make it quite deep, but I just glue everything together. But I do the layers kind of first and then. So there we go. Now, I need to think what way around with this one is, because the hello obviously can only go in one direction, so I'm checking that this cinnamon cider little foliage there and this one's down in the bottom corner. So you do have to pay attention that you've not got it, you know, that you've got your layers all going the right way. So you could do this with any stamp set, any kind of picture. It's just a bit of fun. It's just giving it a different look. And most people, when they see it, they're like, oh, how did you do that? It looks as if it's difficult, but as you see now, it's not. And what you'll see is that by putting the card layer there, you disguise the bit where it didn't stamp so well at the join of the layers of the cards. If you see what I mean, and you'll see now. Just carefully line that up. These ones are not so good. The first ones I did, but what you can do is this. The good thing here, if you're really fussy about that, is you can take your Stampin' Right marker, and which is the same colour of ink, and that just there's this bit where the stalks didn't quite. And that makes it less noticeable. And there's a little bit here with the bumblebee. The good thing is the markers are exactly the same colour as your ink pad. So you just, the wee bits, you can just put a few dots of the colour and it just, not colouring it solid because the stamp isn't, so there you go. So any wee bits, if you feel you've missed, it's easy fixed. And then we'll pop the top one on. Again, you can do it with dimensionals if you want, but I don't want the card to be too bulky, so. And there you go. So that's it. That's basically it. Obviously, that's what I'm saying. You could put it up on dimensionals if you wanted to, Randy. But it makes the card very bulky for posting. And now you could add. I have still got a wee ink blob there that I'm not too happy. So just get these fabulous in colour enamel dots. And I'll just stick with the Just Jade there, I think. And I'm going to cover that over for a kick off. Don't know where I might put another one. One over here maybe. And then one right up there. And I'll put it up there. Right, so that covers the mark that I didn't want there. I might keep this just in case. So there you go, there's card number 1. Now card number 2 is going to take a bit longer because I'm going to do some die cutting and I've not prepped it. I don't know, I've got this, so we'll just make sure what I want this to be the right layer size for my card. So let's just check this, because so I want this to be 10.1 centimetres, which it's not. 10.1. That's not straight either. Let's start again, Janice. Remember to butt up right up to that edge so that you get a nice 90-degree angle. And then, so that was 10.1 by 14.4 centimetres. Obviously, if you're working with a slightly different size of card, you need to do differently. And have I got a card base up ready? No. I've got the strips, so we can do it the other way around. So this needs to be 10.5. I must have been using this card for cutting the layers. Yeah, I like these new in colours, and it's just a completely different palette, taking all the pinks and blues out and just going with. So there, I'm going to score this in half. So basically, again, that's a full piece of our A4 card cut in half and folded in half. And that is our layer here that we're going to use. So, and we're going to stamp on it. This time we're stamping on one piece of paper, because I'll explain to you. We're using the stitched rectangle dies, and I've taken out 6. In fact, I took out 8, but I decided to just do less layers with you. So let's put these ones back. And I'm not sure where that one's gone. I did use it the other day there. I better find that later. So pop these ones back in. So there's these very long rectangle. There's a nice shaped one. I'll need to have a look. It'll be there. It's probably possibly on my board. Yes, it's on my magnetic board, so we're all right. Let's just get it and put it away. I have a mechanic's metallic tray at the side of me on the wall, so I can. There we go. So we'll pop that away safely. And if you're joining us, if you're watching, say hello in the comments, so that I know you're here. You're very welcome to come in and watch. And even better if you're crafting along with me. Right, so I've got 6 layers here, so it's all a bit complicated here. So what I need is every second one I'm going to cut, I will cutting on this white, and the larger ones of each pair I will cut out in cinnamon cider. So I need to take, for the moment, take that one away, that one away, and that one away. They'll be cutting the cinnamon cider, and these ones I'll be using on here to make my card. So I'll keep them just there, and my card base is just beyond with my measurement book, and I'm going to stamp this much the same composition as we used there, if I can find anything. Where's my blocks? Let's go. So what's everybody's plans after Cuppa and cards? I'm going to go and sit in the sun with my book, actually. Make myself some lunch. Take it out in the sun. I'm just making sure. These new ink pads are really juicy, so I'm just making sure. You're off to sleep, of course you are, Sylvia. Are you North Island or no? You're not. I'm mixed up with who's in Australia and who's in New Zealand. Yeah, Sylvia, you're in New Zealand. I've got it. Can't get to the bottom of the comments again. Right, you're in North Island. I've got family in Bay of Plenty, but I probably told you that before. Right, so then we'll get what we start with Just Jade this time. So again, just going towards the hollow from the edge, just kind of randomly. I put a bit more green in this one than I did in the last one. You'll not make it two the same. Oh, that'll be delightful, Randy. My hair is a mess. I don't know when we're in Scotland we're going to be able to deal with it. And then we'll bring this one in and we'll ring this up a bit. We'll clean this one and wipe them off. What about doing this one with the bumblebee this time? Wairarapa. I have been a few times. We got as far south as Nelson, I think. Did we go? No, we never went to Nelson. We went to... Oh, my brain is gone. We drove down through Lake Taupo. Napier we went to. I knew it was an N, I couldn't remember. The last time we were there we went north, we went up to Bay of Islands. So we've got a bit more green and a bit more of these ones, and then we'll get another one. Let's just change it and have this one. There's quite a lot of nice leaves in there, so now what am I going to go for? My cinnamon cider. Yeah, okay. So you really are quite south in the island. Napier was beautiful, I loved it though. I'm just popping this in the spaces. That's looking okay. I don't even think that we'll give it a bit of dottage just so we don't have too many white lines. That's if I can see when I put that. So do we go for green or bumble? Will we do the dots with bumblebee this time? Just to make it a bit different. Close this. So, right, okay. So your hairdresser, was she wearing protective stuff as well, Randy? We haven't really, there is a plan for ours to reopen, but it's not all been worked out yet. Just randomly doing some dots. It's just mostly to take the white edge away. Also in the wee gaps between the leaves. There's that's it done. So that's the stamping done. Now I'm going to have to bring in my big shot, so it will. I think I need to tidy up all my stamps just to create the space. So all I ever seem to do is make a mess, clear it up, make a mess, clear it up. Try to clear up between each stamping session, but goodness, it's lots of work. Right, so put that there so we don't lose it. So we are going to cut these, so we'll get these ready first before we start. So want to try and line these up, and I'm going to use my masking tape as well to do this. So just kind of get the first one, use eyesight, just try and make it look as if it's reasonably straight and reasonably even. And again that in there, and then this one. Now you can do them twisted. I've seen people do a twisted layer card, but for this time let's just stick with getting it this way. Again, washi tape. Now what I'm doing is I've torn a bit of washi tape and I'm just taking the tackiness off a wee bit on my t-shirt because I don't want to rip my picture when it's done. I'm going to pop these on so that it doesn't slip when we're cutting. The same, just a few times on my t-shirt. I mean, it's not perfect. I'm not going over it with a fine tooth comb to make sure it's evenly measured. It's good enough. Alright, so that will be going in the big shot like that. But we need the other 3 layers. Whoops. For the cinnamon cider. Now if we're clever we can do the same on a piece of cinnamon cider. That's if I have some left. Yeah, but I need to cut into a new sheet. So let's get the trimmer and just cut ourselves a bit. I'll just cut a quarter of a sheet. Oh, you had to have your temperature checked as well at the hairdresser's. Fair enough. I don't want anyone poorly going in just now. Right, so I've got this layer. I'm going to try and do the same with this. Now I didn't do it this way the last time, but I felt my card was a bit bulky. So this time, oops. The bit on the outside will be waste, whereas on this one we're keeping it. But let's just... Straightness isn't quite as important here, but to a certain extent it's important that the spacing is. Right, let's just... Again, I'm just what I call detacking it a wee bit. Yeah, I just feel a lot of my ladies that come to Cuppa and cards we'll take it by stages. We'll do twisted another week. When it's something new, you best to do the basic one first. Oh, Janice, I took all that time. It's because the dies are just a bit... Right, I'm just going to go for that. Alright, so that's ready for cutting as well. So let's get the big shot. It was here. I need new plates for this, but it works. I keep forgetting. I'm desperate for Stampin' Up! Have a new cutting machine, and I'm so desperate to have it. And it is coming. It will be, I think it's 1st of September that it will be available to you guys. So have you done it before with dies, Randy, or just with cutting the layers? Doing it this way, nesting these to cut, the card will not weigh so much. Yeah, that'll be fine. We'll get them out in a minute and we'll cut this. This big machine on my table drives me nuts, but never mind. Just cut these and then we'll... Ooh! Sliding about because I've got it on top of my paper grid, which is not ideal. I don't normally do my die cutting here when I'm crafting on my own. I've got a unit behind me that this sits on. Right, but I dreamt this up, the die, doing it with the dies, I think. I don't know if I've seen somebody else do it with layering, nesting dies. Right, so just now very, very carefully take your washi tape off. Now, don't pull it straight, kind of just pull it at an angle. And just watch it all the way. Don't start at the edge because it's easier to tear your paper if you start pulling at the edge. So let's go from the inside. And just gently, very gently. This is not one of the situations where you just tweak it. So then I'll just get the dies out the way, pop out your layers. And this way, this one I've really got 4 layers because I've got the base one that fits on the card base, and then these 3, and then again with this again, you don't want to rip your card. These stitched rectangles are lovely because you've got the stitching detail. Oops. You're not going to get the total benefit of that with this card. So that bit's waste. Let's get that out of the way. But if you see, you could be cutting yourself some frames, and look, the stitch details on both sides of your frame, so that's really cool. Right, so let's move the dies out the way. And let's start layering up. We've got our card base as well, so this one goes on the card base, and again I need to think about direction. So where's my glue? Here it is. The die, using nesting dies is a good way because you don't have to do any maths beforehand. You don't have to work out measurements. Right, so my card's going this way, and yep, this is the right way up. Oh, Janice, come on. Having a bit of a moment here. I think because it's not got a middle, it's not so easy to get it. But just give yourself the moment. That's why you use wet glue. Right, so let's layer each of these up, and then we'll, and just pray it works for me, because as I said, I did the background layers separate on my last one, and this time I've layered them out, so let's hope I get it right. Even doing something like that looks okay, you know, it gives you a nice, because you've got these frames, gives you something different for a card. So using these dies are good, these guys are good fun. Right, so then I need to get this one on there. So I just need glue around the kind of, when you're layering these, you want your glue on the outside edge there. Just once it, so there we go, and then this one, whoops, I've got a bit sticky, but that's okay. And again, I mean, you could have lots of fun with these, playing with frames and all sorts of things you can play with, these dies. I've not played with them enough, obviously. So I've got a shaky hand today, I don't know what that's about. Yeah, you can just, you really have to get some cutting done and then just play. I'm giving myself, this is what happens though, Randy. While you're doing one thing, you can see possibilities. I'm never short of ideas, just short of time to. Right, I've got sticky fingers. See if I've got a wet chamois here. See if that'll help. So if you've got some nesting dies, Randy, you could get them out and play now. We have to think carefully what we're doing here, because these will probably be all round the wrong way. Think. Right, so we're the green at the top there. So again, we're just going to pop this glue on the layer. I'm making it quite wet, which is possibly a mistake because I'll probably get covered, but I want to be able to move it around. So again, just evenly get that. There never is enough time, is there, Randy? And then the green at the top again. So I hope you're enjoying Cuppa and cards and coming along each week. I'm trying my best to be as consistent as I can and be here at 11 o'clock every Thursday. Of course there may be the odd Thursday that I can't, but at the moment I am here on a Thursday. And then the top layer. Okay, Randy will be looking to see what you get round to doing as well now that you've got a few ideas. So that worked fine. Will we add a bit of what will we go with this time? The cinnamon ones. Oh, I broke that one. Oh, no, I haven't. Where did I put that one? And the one there. There we go. It's not stuck properly. So that, the dies, I like the finish and I love the stitched edge, and I think I will probably always revert to this way, but I didn't think it was fair to not show the, let's just tidy up a bit. Let's take this sticky, this is all sticky and messy. Oh, I love grid paper. I so love just getting clean again. Okay, so there you go. So thanks everyone for coming along and sharing in Cuppa and cards. I love getting the wee chat at the side. I will upload this to YouTube later on, so that those who watch me on YouTube will be able to watch it as often as you want to. And don't forget, those of you who are in the UK, I've got paper shares that end today. There's a in colour craft box and a designer series paper share, all from the annual catalogue, if you want to have a look. If you look, I think there is a post in Jazzle Dazzle today, so have a wee look and see what you think. If it's something you want to take part in, just message me today and we'll get that sorted out. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go off and make some lunch and coffee and go and enjoy some of this sunshine, I think. Thank you so much everybody. Bye bye. If I can find out how to finish, I'll go. Hope you all have a great sleep or a great day or whatever's next. You'll be heading to bed soon, Rails. And I think Sylvia's already gone.